Does your golf ball start offline? Or do you hit a shot and immediately know that the first part of your motion wasn't right? What we're going to do today is study the first section of your swing, the takeaway, to give you the best chance to have your club working in the most efficient way possible. We have found in watching players over the years in Op 36 where they're trying to hit the green and they're performing on the golf course, not just the driving range, that if they get this first piece off, especially the rotation of the face, it's very hard for them to figure out and organize how to get it to go straight. If they do, they start to add some compensations to get it to go straight, that when they get further back to different yardages in Op 36, it makes it even more challenging. All right, so today we're going to be using the Foresight. We're going to turn off the simulator in the ceiling and the screen just so you can get some better lighting to see what's going on. The Foresight is going to help us when we hit a shot to know if we started it a little bit right or a little bit left. Today is all about starting direction in terms of our performance. That one started to the right 1.2 degrees, which is pretty good. I like to start them just fractionally right. If we get this takeaway piece correct and get the club working in its most efficient way on the way back, that'll give us the best chance on the way down to get the face to be somewhat square at impact. Or if you're going to err, maybe a slightly open club face. We're going to use this blue line on the ground as our target line. That's what the Foresight is lined up with. If you didn't have a launch monitor and all you had was a net, you could set up a stick on the screen or in front of you that's vertical. I've got a training aid here that'll hold the stick vertical, but if you are outside, you could put it in the grass. And let me make sure that that's in line with where I'm trying to go, and it's not. That's pretty close. If you didn't have a launch monitor, you could hit shots and see where they start. That ball started left. The pull was 5 degrees on the Foresight. Hit another one. That one started right, 5-degree push. Let's start to jump into some of the details of this takeaway. And we have already established some pieces about the grip that we think are important. And if you're off on your grip, I can tell you that if you got your hands in a crazy spot on the grip, that definitely leads to some crazy takeaways. Some pieces that looks a little bit off. I would encourage you, go back through some of our other sessions where we talk about the grip, making sure that the left arm is straight when we take the grip, making sure that the handle is forward when we're taking our grip, making sure where our thumb pads are. We're not going to go into a ton of detail today on that, but remember, our goal is to come into impact with the handle forward, not back, and the face ever so slightly open. So if that is our goal at impact, as we take this club back, we want the club to be in a spot where as you come back down, it gives you the best chance to produce those alignments of handle forward, face slightly open. I like to bring back into the equation for the takeaway. We're going to use the Tour Aim sticks again and the Tour Aim platform. It can be used inside. We talked about this when we were on the driving range. If I set this at the wedge setting, right there, and if I bring this up to the screen, I'm going to put it in the wedge setting, 64-degree lie angle. Remember, our clubs are bent. They're not vertical. So we've got to swing them on an angle such that if it was projected on the ground, it would be an arc. These sticks would help us with that and know where the club is supposed to be as we swing back, hit the ball, and come through. Specifically what we're talking about today, because we talked about the sticks before, we're talking about the twist of the shaft when you set up with the handle forward, face slightly open. We don't want the club face to get into an orientation where the grooves are pointed directly at the ground. That's going to potentially give us a closed club face at impact. Even though we might swing it on the sticks, even if I were to take it back in an arc and have that pretty good, if I twist the shaft, whether through my wrists or my forearms or my shoulder, or maybe my grip is such that when I take it back, the face is shut. If you see the club face, these grooves pointing at the ground in your takeaway, that's not a good thing. If I were to go back, twist my wrists, and get the face shut, that one was a 4-degree pull. I think I chunked it. That's why it didn't go that far left. Let me try that again. Close the club face. There we go. About a 10-degree pull. If you have that motion and you come through, you only need to see the ball go left a few times and you're going to start to make some adjustments. Adjustments that we have seen with folks that come in with a closed club face. They see the ball go low and left. They try to move their head back, get their right shoulder back, and that gets the face to have a little bit more loft on it, and it's not pointed as far left. The challenge is that's a death move because your right shoulder is so important. It needs to keep moving through the shot to keep your swing direction fairly straight and to keep pressure on the shaft. Keep your right forearm flying wedge. All really, really important things to be consistent. But if you feel like you've got to do this, or you notice on video that when you come down, your head's backing up, that's not a good thing. And we see that a lot with players that take the club back very, very shut. They come through, fall back. Maybe they do okay from 50 yards away. They certainly have trouble with contact, but when they get further back, it's very difficult for them to be consistent. So checkpoint is, as you're halfway back, where do these grooves point? One that we don't want to have happen is the grooves point towards the ground. The opposite of that is if somebody has a decent setup, when they take it back, either by the rolling of their forearms excessively or a very weak grip, that gets the face to open up a lot, such that the face is open to the shaft, which will give you golf balls that either curve to the right if the path is off, but if you're swinging fairly straight, like we've talked about, and you have the face open, going back, such that at the takeaway, maybe the grooves point at the sky, it's very easy for your golf ball to start to the right. That was 5 degrees to the right on a 30-yard shot. So take a look at your takeaway on video. Video is probably the best way to do it, so you can see it in slow motion and see what the club face is doing as it goes back. Ideally, we like to see the club face, if you're set up correctly with the handle forward, face slightly open, you'd like to see the club face pointing not at the ground, not at the sky, but somewhere in between. Some people like to use the spine as a reference point for the club face. Sometimes that's just a little bit too closed, but that's close. And then once you get to an area where you're somewhat close, you need to hit some shots to see if you can bring the face back. That was 0.2 degrees left, which is pretty close. How can you bring this face back pretty close to where you're trying to go? And again, my goal, a little bit open, that was pretty close to 0, but really start to pay attention to your takeaway. We're grabbing this right from the level 2 Op 36 curriculum. I was just looking at that yesterday. We used to have the Op 36 curriculum in books. This was so cool to look at back in the day. And if you look at some of the things we've already gone over, hitting the ball first, the grip, so cool to look at Op 36 back in the day. Used to be in a pamphlet or a book, but the students would always lose the books. They wouldn't bring them to class. And then anytime we tried to update anything in the curriculum, we had to reprint everything. So we've gone digital now in the app, which is significantly better. But to finish up today, we were talking about the takeaway. This is from level 2 Op 36. So we feel like from 50 yards away, if you're trying to beat 36, you need to have a pretty decent takeaway where the club face is in a position where you can have success. If you get off in the first section of your swing, it is very challenging to reroute everything and get it back. So take a look at the club face. Is it closed? Is it too open? If you can't figure it out, find a coach to help you or post a comment below. Most of the time, the coach can figure out exactly why you're getting the face open or why it's closed. If you can get the face in a pretty playable position, that'll give you the best chance to hit the ball solid and start to control how close to being online your golf ball is. I hope this video was helpful. If you have additional questions, please post them in the comments below. If you need one-on-one help, I invite you to find a local Operation 36 coach near you.